let's see, I got this right here and also this. Alright, so this is what I'm going to do. With the putty, I'm going to cut a good amount, like a generous amount, and put it right here on this side of the steering wheel onto the aluminum. A good amount, make sure it adheres onto it very well, and then also to these two holes. Then once that cures, then I'll get this stuff, squeeze it, mix it, and then put it on the edges of the putty to make sure everything's good, nice and set and secure and strong, all that stuff. And when it's ready to go, then tomorrow, once it cures and dries and stuff, I'll go ahead, line this up, get a paint pen to mark the holes. Then I go ahead and drill the holes for the steering wheel screws to go in through this side. So yeah. And before I do any of that, I need to degrease this, make it nice and clean, and go ahead and file the metal a little bit, make it nice and gritty, so that way the putty can stick on better. So that's what I got. I know it's not beautiful, but yeah, it's rock hard. So with this, like I said, I'm just going to put a little bit on the sides, you know, with the stick and whatnot. That way it kind of secures it. And for the back, I'll put a little bit right here since it's kind of like a dimple, goes in. But yeah, once that is done, then tomorrow go ahead and drill the holes. All right, let's see. Alrighty, so here is a short hub I got from NRG. Here's the model number and the application list for, you know, the cars that it fits on. And surprise, surprise, this fits the STS because it uses the same steering shaft or column from the CTS-V 1. So this slides on, bolts on just fine. And it also came with some screws for this bottom part of the quick release hub. This is the NRG 2.5 quick release. So that's good to go. Everything's nice, got the wires, got everything going. I just got to get the screws for it. Now the question is, how do I put it onto the steering wheel? Again, this is the test dummy. It's just for demonstrating purposes before I actually do it on the other awesomer, more awesome steering wheel. So the horn wires slide through and it sits onto the back of the steering wheel. That's good to go, and go ahead and bolt it on. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I got one screw in, however it's not long enough for the quick release, so I have to get longer screws. I'll put the measurements in the next clip or so, but this is how it's supposed to look, right? Okay, the horn wires, they're not being pinched or anything, so they're good to go. The next step is to get the horn ring mounted against the steering wheel, then finally get the horn connected to the wires, then snap it into the horn ring, and the steering wheel is ready to be mounted onto the car. The only thing is, of course, no airbag and loss of functionality of the buttons on the trim. So that's got to go. I'll do something with that, and you'll see in a little bit. But this steering wheel, again, is not going to be used on the car. Only in the future. I'm going to do something different with this wheel, but it's only for demonstration and testing purposes. So yeah, let's get to it. Alrighty, so I got just about everything off the steering wheel. The airbag, the trim, wires, little things that were on there. I took them off, like the little holder there, another holder that was there, held by a little tiny torque screw. I just need to figure out where the horn wires are, because it doesn't really show me where the horn's at. I don't know if it's like somewhere special behind the steering wheel, but I know it's one of these wires. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and remove the steering wheel and see what I can do about the wires there on the clock spring. Alrighty, so let me tell you what happened. So the clock spring on this car is a little different than, you know, other clock springs. You know, some of them have the little disconnects, so you pull them out and there you go. But on this car, the wires are inside the clock spring, making it a little bit more difficult to get to the horn wires. So I reconnected the battery. I already stripped all the wires. So I was going by one. I was thinking this black one was one of the horn wires because it kind of goes with the airbag. That is now clipped off. But as you can see here, this black wire, and I believe this is like a peach orange color. These are the horn wires. So that's really cool. I'll go ahead and strip these and get these going. The short hub is now on. Horn wires are ready to be crimped and connected to the other part of the quick release, the bottom part of it. So that's cool. Looks nice. I know it's a little dusty in here, but that's all right. Exciting. Alrighty, so the wires are now connected. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this on. Pretty cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Alrighty, that's coming out just fine, letting that cure. I took this thing out, don't need that no more. It's pretty heavy. What I'm gonna do next is remove the airbag out of the, well, airbag. Airbag is now removed. Just gonna have to touch up that paint. Next, I'm going to drill the 6 holes onto the steering wheel. Now what I've done, I put Gorilla Tape between the horn ring and the steering wheel. And it's centered. I measured it correctly on the outside, whatever, so it's centered. I marked it with the punch hole. I have some cutting fluid and a 732 or 732nd Cobalt drill bit. Here we go. The screws I'm using are M5 by 0.8. That's the diameter or the size. And the length is 20 millimeter. Notice it's just a regular screw head of Phillips rather than the Allen bolt. I couldn't get some at the store, but what I did, because these heads, or the head of the screw is a little bigger, and the holes are drilled with a 1/2 inch drive. I believe it's a 1/2 inch. No, sorry, 1/4 drive. So they just go in perfectly. All the holes are ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and mount on the quick release. Alrighty, this is the moment of truth. Let me just get in. Everything's good to go. Here is the steering wheel. I just have the quick release screwed on. That is it. Let's try it out. If I can do this one-handed. Wow. There you go. All right. Now, let me see. Because I know with the hubs, it did bring the steering wheel a lot closer. Let me see. Oh, that is perfect. I was afraid it's going to be a little close, but no, that's a good bend. Now I can kind of like move my seat up a little bit. No, move it back. There. Oh, yeah. That is way more comfortable. Nice. Yeah, that's good to go, man. It's nice and tight. I know the steering column kind of wobbles on its own, even though the nut is tight. That's how it was originally, but that is not the hub's fault or anything. Everything's nice and tight, not too tight. So the next step is to do the horn ring and connect the horn. All that leg room, dude. Go ahead, connect it. It's kind of hard doing it one-handed, but right? And check that out. Okay, my wipers are on. Go for a quick test drive. I know I don't have the buttons and stuff right now, but I'm just gonna get a feel for it right now. No, with battery disconnected, now everything wants to act all weird. I don't have an AC. Okay, I'm hearing something. You hear that? Sounds like metal grinding or rubbing. So I'm gonna go ahead and check that out. But let's go for a quick drive. Yes, sir. It feels really good in the hands. Like, it's a little closer, or should I say a lot closer. It feels so good. Like, now it feels like if I take it to a track, I'll have like all the control possible rather than having my arms extended out like before. The horn works. Alright, I'm gonna try turning to see if I crash. Is straight, car is straight, we're good to go, man. I just got to fix that little grinding rubbing noise. I got to see what that is, but other than that, it is good. And the steering is smooth. It's not like, oh, it's all hard or anything, but I'll check it out right now and see why it's making that little funky noise. Nice. I also got the trim back on. I tried blacking out the buttons with a paint marker because they don't work anymore, but at least they still click. But it looks kind of ugly, so in the future I'll get some wrap and just, you know, cut a little strip, place it over the buttons, make it look nice. The horn works. I have the airbag cover over there. I'm just touching up the paint. Obviously it doesn't have the airbag in it no more, but I don't want to leave the steering wheel like this. I mean, yeah, it looks okay, it looks kind of cool, but I don't like the exposed core, and it just doesn't look right without the airbag. Or airbag cover, I don't know what you want to call that now. But what I wanted to do, because if you just put the airbag on, when you press on it, it won't press the horn. So I'm gonna put something in the inside of the airbag, so when I press on it, it'll touch the horn and make it work. So I'll see about that. I also got the little things here that is needed for the airbag to click back on, because I was about to do it without it, then I figured it out. But the steering wheel is at the perfect reach, because I'm sitting all the way back in my seat and the steering wheel is right there underneath my wrist where it should be. Or before, it was further out and it just didn't feel right. I didn't like it, didn't feel confident. I had to scoot up all the way, but my legs are more bent. But now like this, I'm sitting perfectly. My legs are, you know, they're not too stretched out. I can press the gas and brake just fine. And the steering wheel is just nice. I can see more of my dashboard and it just feels so good turning. Just a little bit of a drive last night, it felt so much better than before. And, you know, a lot more knee room, because before my knees were touching underneath the steering wheel. Now I have all this room. And of course, when you take it off, if I can do this one-handed, give me one sec. Okay. And of course, without the steering wheel, I got all this leg room. So I can literally just like chill, pull this out or pop it out and just be like this, sit like that, cross my legs, do whatever I want, all that room. And when it's time to go, just go ahead. I can't do this one-handed, man. Something like that. Yeah, there we go. Man, really cool, really cool. I just got to figure out why it's making that noise. It's got to be the clock spring. I probably got to take the short hub off and just readjust this, see what's going on, because I think it's rubbing. But other than that, no steering issues. It's fine. It's hot, man. Goodness gracious. Well, unfortunately, the idea to put the airbag back on, put something behind the airbag, like a little piece of plastic I had. It's like round, tape it on there, glue it for it to, you know, when you click it on, and you know how you push it, that's the horn. That way you'll press that horn. Well, it didn't work with the airbag. The springs or something just didn't click on all the way. So what I did instead, I carefully removed the old logo or emblem and I taped it onto the horn. So there you go. And I painted the inside of the core black. So it kind of looks better now. Not what I wanted, but it's all right.